Deadly Delicious is a pretty interesting film. I remember back in the day when I first moved out to Vancouver, there was this guy selling copies. He tried to sell me a copy of this movie, but I wasn't into it. But this is a food movie. But however, it is a food movie, but the food's used for evil, if that makes any sense. Other movies showcase food as like something to bring people together or to nourish or to be made with love. This movie does the opposite. So it does have the the cooking sequences, and it is technically a food movie, but the food is used for evil. I'll get into that in a sec. This one is about a rich businessman. He is always busy, always traveling, and he's dating this flight attendant, and he's a gourmand. He loves food. He takes her to expensive restaurants, and he feels guilty that he doesn't get to spend enough time with her, so he buys her an apartment, and she basically just sits there waiting for him whenever she's not working. And whenever he pops by, though, he's in a bad mood, and she can't cook at all. And he's a foodie, so whenever they don't eat out for some reason, she makes him instant noodles, and it's not enough for him. It's not nourishing him. They have lots of sex, but he's got big appetites. It's one of like his big character traits, that he seems to be into everything. He's got a big appetite for business, food, and sex. So she's afraid she's not going to be able to keep up with him because he's making all this money. He's like busy. If he's probably just gonna end up breaking up with her. So she meets a new neighbor, and they hit it off, and they decide to make food together. And our main character is Coco. Coco learns how to make these sumptuous dishes now for her boyfriend, and everything seems to be going great. However, this new selfless neighbor has a secret of her own, and she's working against them both for mysterious reasons. So this movie has a pretty interesting sort of mystery element for the first half, but when the twist is revealed, the movie goes into very strange and weird directions, and I wasn't 100% on board, but they still needed to make the movie last an hour and a half, so they did. And I like the acting. Everyone's good in the movie. It's like a three-person movie, and after the reveal, you get more and more twists, and it just gets really interesting. Some of the elements don't make sense, though. Like, for example, the food cooked ends up hurting the guy, and they don't explain why. It just does. But they could have explained. They could have used a real food element to hurt him. Like, for example, escargot. If you don't starve them before you cook them, they're full of poison. Same goes for like rhubarb. The leafy parts of rhubarb, I believe, or the top part of rhubarb, is actually deadly. Certain foods are just, if not prepped right, they will kill you. And they should have done more research into that. But the cooking scenes aren't too. They don't really care about that too much. So it's not 100% a food movie, because it is more of a horror-ish thriller. But I really like the character work from Francis Ng. He plays like he plays like a really larger than life kind of person. There's people out there that are just like, yeah, I want everything. I want all the sex and the food and the business and the money and the things like that. He's kind of like that. He's insatiable, basically. And yeah, the other two do a good job too. So Deadly Delicious is worth checking out if you're in the mood for something kind of like, like a little bit like it's kind of like Gone Girl vibes, but not really, but with a food element. So I give Deadly Delicious a 6.5 out of 10.